What celebrity are you surprised isn't in jail or dead yet? Ozzy Osbourne. I'm truly surprised he lived this long. Was surprised to see how well Dick Van Dyke seems to be after seeing him on The Masked Singer. 97 years old and still pretty spry. In other news, a funny comment I saw the other day, it's time we were more concerned about the type of world we will be leaving for Keith Richards. Steven Seagal. He's still making terrible movies that no one watches. And by that I mean less than 100K revenue. It is widely believed these are just a money laundering scheme, as many of the people making these movies are known to be part of the gang Seagal works for. However, the reason it's surprising Seagal is not dead or in prison include polygamy when he had a wife in Japan and the US while attempting to sleep his way up the ladder in Hollywood. 3 separate alleged sexual assault allegations I know of. Assaulting a comedian on set. Running through a fence in an armored car just to get a good shot for the reality show. Refusing to pull punches on set. Having suspicious cash revenue streams back when his dojo struggled to stay afloat. This and the general narcissism and lies resulted in him getting fired from every place he worked except the gang. It is actually believed the gang got him into Hollywood too, as his first role involved a director taking a small pay cut just to let Seagal in, probably bribery. Also, during one feud Seagal threatened one guy by saying he had powerful friends in organized crime, and no one believed him. But the guy threatened got a call from someone who had worked with Seagal and told him Seagal really did work for a gang who was directly invested in Seagal's Hollywood career. Money laundering with movies is easy. The many you owe money to is simply hired in some role for a movie and paid some arbitrary amount for little work. The payments do not look suspicious on bank accounts, as the pay on movie sets vary a lot, as is the amount of work that goes into some movie role. This is why Seagal has spent decades making movies with incoherent plots, shoddy action scenes, and lazy acting. I mean, as far as still being alive, I think Keith Richards takes the top prize there. The guy is apparently immortal. Charlie Sheen. Henry Kissinger. Not celebrity in the typical sense but in YouTube sense, Eugenia Cooney. I love Bob Newhart and Dick Van Dyke, but every once in a while I check to see if they're still alive. Ezra Miller. 2020, caught on video assaulting a woman in Iceland. 2022, got into a bar fight in Hawaii. 2022, threw a chair at a woman at a private gathering, injuring her. 2022, sheltering a young Native American activist whose parents allege Miller groomed from a young age. Allegedly, Miller refers to themselves as the Messiah of Native Americans and the activist as a spider goddess, and stated their relationship would bring about the apocalypse. 2022, showed up at a woman's he had befriended house wearing a bulletproof vest and brandishing a firearm. Displayed behavior towards the woman's child that made her uncomfortable. Referred to the child as a mystic being. Later showed up to house dressed as a cowboy and tried to buy the child's horse. Judge granted restraining order. 2022, Miller accused of sheltering a mother and her 3 children on his farm in Vermont from the authorities. Mother claims her partner is abusive. Authorities' attempts at contacting mother are obstructed by Miller and other persons. Witnesses claim that firearms are left in children's reach and drugs are consumed in their presence. 2022, Miller accused of burglarizing home of childhood friend, taking alcohol. Identified by security footage. Miller plead guilty to trespassing in January. Miller released a statement saying they were receiving treatment for complex mental health issues. Not dead? Tony Bennett. Guy's voice was wet in panties since the 50s, and the guy just retired from doing concerts last year, is suffering from dementia now. Guy was also out there fighting the Nazis in Germany as well. Hell of a life and career that feller. Hope his eventual passing is smooth, and surrounded by his loved ones. Nikki Sixx. Chris Brown. Joel Osteen. I'm really surprised he's not in jail for the unreported money his church is making or the misappropriated funds, like have you seen the cars he drives, or hasn't been killed especially after denying the refugees seeking shelter when Hurricane Ian or Harvey hit. He legit pissed off a good majority of the country for pulling that shit. Willie Nelson and Keith Richards are wondering what kind of world Gensers are going to leave them. Bam Margera. Andy Dick, though he may be in jail. How is Ezra Miller not the top of this list? Every member of Motley Crue is still alive. How is that possible? Going with a YouTube celebrity, but Nico Cato Avocado, that dude is literally going to eat himself to death. Dan Schneider.